In the heart of the American wilderness, a man's desperate cries pierced the silence. But the creature that answered his call was the last thing anyone would expect. This is how one act of compassion created a bond that defied nature itself, a bond that would be tested when human cruelty came face to face with wild loyalty. Before we dive into this extraordinary tale, drop a comment below and tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Now, what you're about to witness will challenge everything you think you know about the relationship between man and beast. But first, we need to go back to where this incredible story began. 3 years earlier, across the dusty landscapes of rural America, Dr. Marcus Webb dedicated his life to a singular mission: treating injured animals in the most remote territories where few veterinarians dared to venture. Marcus was more than a doctor. He was a guardian of the voiceless, answering calls that others would ignore. When an emergency crackled through his radio about a lion in distress at a private wildlife sanctuary in Montana, Marcus didn't hesitate for a single moment. He arrived to find Jupiter, a magnificent male lion who had been rescued from illegal captivity, lying wounded and barely clinging to life. A massive infection had ravaged his paw, leaving him unable to stand. The sanctuary owner faced an impossible choice: euthanize this majestic creature or place his fate in Marcus's hands. For 3 grueling hours, Marcus worked with unwavering determination to save Jupiter's life. He carefully cleaned the infected wound, administered life-saving antibiotics, and spoke in gentle, calming tones to the 450-pound predator whose pain-filled eyes watched his every move. Against all odds, Jupiter survived that critical night. But something else happened during those desperate hours, something that couldn't be explained by science or medicine alone. A connection had been forged. Over the following months, Marcus visited Jupiter every single week during his recovery, and Jupiter remembered. Every single time. The sanctuary staff witnessed something they had never seen before in all their years of working with big cats. Jupiter, a lion who had learned to trust no human after his traumatic past, had chosen one man to trust completely. Eventually, Marcus's work took him elsewhere. Life moved on, and the regular visits stopped. But the bond they had formed remained, unbroken and waiting. Neither of them knew it yet, but their story was far from over. In fact, it was about to take a turn that would shock the world. 2 years later, Marcus returned to Montana for a research expedition, hiking alone through remote wilderness miles from any civilization. But he wasn't alone out there. 3 poachers, operating illegally in protected territory, emerged from the trees and surrounded him. They saw Marcus as a threat, a witness who could end their entire operation. Trapped in a canyon, miles from help, with men closing in and weapons visible, Marcus realized he was in mortal danger from his own kind. And then, something impossible happened. A thunderous sound of something massive crashing through brush shattered the tension. All heads turned toward the noise. From the shadows emerged Jupiter, who had escaped from the sanctuary during a violent storm 2 days earlier and had been wandering the wilderness, drawn by something he couldn't explain. The 500-pound lion's eyes locked onto Marcus with instant recognition. In that critical moment, Jupiter made a choice. He positioned his powerful body directly between Marcus and the poachers, his low growl reverberating through the canyon. Jupiter didn't attack. He didn't have to. His mere presence, his willingness to stand between Marcus and danger, was enough. The poachers stumbled backward in terror and fled into the forest. For several minutes, man and lion stood together in silence. Marcus, alive because of a debt repaid. Jupiter, having traveled miles as if guided by an ancient instinct that defied all logic and reason. Jupiter was safely returned to the sanctuary, where he remains today. The poachers were arrested, and Marcus Webb was left with a truth that would change him forever: that compassion transcends species, that kindness is never forgotten, and that sometimes, in our darkest moments, salvation comes from the most unexpected places. This story reminds us that we share this planet with creatures capable of loyalty, memory, and even gratitude. The question is, are we worthy of their trust? If this story moved you, subscribe to witness more extraordinary tales of the untamed bond between humans and nature. Share this video to spread Jupiter's message, that love and compassion know no boundaries. Because sometimes the most human thing we can do is recognize the humanity in those we call wild.